Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Christopher Davis, a retired legal executive. His specialist subject is German military aircraft of the Second World War. Lillian Downs, a civil servant who will be answering questions on the comedy series Arrested Development. Marian Vasquez, a bid writer. Her subject is the American painter James McNeill Whistler. And Tom Moody, a software developer. His specialist subject, Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings film trilogy. Thank your lucky stars you're not about to make your way to the black chair. Many's a man or woman who've crumbled under the pressure. But our four contenders are titans of quizzing. After all, they've made it this far, and their ultimate goal, to become Mastermind champion. 2 minutes on their specialist subject and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge are coming up. So can I ask our first contender to join us, please? Your name?
Christopher Davis.
Your occupation?
Retired legal executive.
And your specialist subject?
German military aircraft of the Second World War.
Yes, in 2 minutes. Let's go. The intimidating wind-driven sirens fitted to the Junkers Ju-87 bomber aircraft early in the war were known as trumpets of which city?
Jericho.
Yes, the Dornier 17 bomber, which played an active role in the Battle of Britain, had what nickname on account of its long, slender fuselage?
Flying Pencil.
Yes, in one of the largest German airborne assaults of the war, around 500 Junkers Ju-52 transport aircraft were used in May 1941 to drop paratroopers onto which Mediterranean island?
Crete.
Yes, although it was largely replaced by the Junkers 87, which biplane dive bomber saw action in Poland, France, the Balkans and on the Eastern Front until mid-1944?
The Heinkel 51.
No, it's the HS-123. What was the popular name of the precision-guided radio-controlled glide bombs launched by Dornier 217 bombers to sink the battleship Roma in September 1943?
HS-293.
No, it's the Fritz X. Which well-known aircraft designer at Focke-Wulf was responsible for the FW-190 fighter and the FW-200 Condor bomber?
Kurt Tank.
Yes, the capture of which British submarine in the Kattegat on the 5th of May 1940 was a notable early success for the Arado AR-196 float plane.
HMS Superb?
No, HMS Seal. In 1944, which aircraft manufacturer won a competition to produce a small, cheap jet with its so-called People's Fighter, partially built from wood?
Heinkel.
Yes, Eric Hartmann, often said to be the most successful fighter pilot in history with 352 victories, flew which aircraft throughout his war service?
Bf-109.
Yes, the Heinkel 219 night fighter and the Focke-Wulf 189 reconnaissance aircraft were both known by what name, the German word for a particular bird of prey?
Owl.
No, Uhu. After Mussolini had been overthrown and imprisoned by his opponents in September 1943, he was rescued by German paratroopers using what short takeoff and landing aircraft, I've started so I'll finish, what short takeoff and landing aircraft to transport him to Hitler's headquarters?
The Fiesler Storch.
It was the Fiesler Storch. Christopher, you had no passes at the end of that round. You've got 7 points. Our next contender, please. Your name?
Lillian Downs.
Your occupation?
Civil servant.
And your specialist subject?
Arrested Development.
The television comedy about the wealthy Bluth family and their struggle to adapt after their patriarch is imprisoned for embezzlement. In 2 minutes. Let's go. What's the name of the unfinished housing development where Michael Bluth lives with some of his family, which makes his son, George Michael, think of a salad dressing?
Sodom Valley.
Yes, in the episode In God We Trust, what alliterative term does Lindsay use to describe the rare psychological affliction that compels her husband Tobias to wear cut-off jeans in the shower?
Never nude.
Yes, in Mr. F, what's the title of the film released by Michael's niece, Maybe, in her secret life as a film studio executive which is losing money after being described as a leaden, painful cliché?
Pass.
In An Old Start, Michael's brother, Job, moves the Bluth Company's office into a former dental practice with what name?
2-hour dentist.
No, 2-hour teeth. In Three Half Men, Michael's brother Buster creates a life-size dummy of his mother Lucille, a situation that the narrator, Ron Howard, says looks a little like which Vince Vaughn film?
Old School.
No, Psycho. In Key Decisions, Job's girlfriend Marta is nominated for a Daytime Desi Award for her appearance in what fictional Spanish language soap opera?
El Amor Prohibido.
Yes, in For British Eyes Only. What's the name of the pub in Wee Britain, the English section of Orange County, where Michael first meets Rita, the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen?
The Red Lion.
No, the Yellow Fang. Which actor plays the role of Argyle Austero, the manager of the Austerity Rehabilitation Clinic, whom Tobias persuades to stage a musical about the Fantastic Four in the episode What Goes Around?
Pass.
Michael teases his sister Lindsay in the episode Charity Drive by commenting on her involvement in a Ladies of Literacy calendar, where he says the women's bodies are covered by copies of what book?
The Bible.
No, Oliver Twist. In The Cabin Show, when Michael visits Reno in search of the family lawyer Barry Zuckhorn, he's surprised to find Tobias working as a waiter in what restaurant?
The Gothic Castle.
No, it's Swallows. Lillian, you had 2 passes. The actor who plays the role of Argyle Austero, the manager of the Austerity Rehabilitation Clinic, Tommy Tune. And in Mr. F, the title of the film released by Michael's niece Maybe in her secret life as a film studio executive, Love Indubitably. Yes, you knew it. OK, Lillian, at the end of that round, you've got 3 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. Your name?
Marion Vasquez.
Your occupation?
Bid writer.
And your specialist subject?
James McNeill Whistler.
The life and career of the acclaimed American artist born in Massachusetts in 1834. In 2 minutes, let's go. Which of Whistler's Nocturne in Black and Gold paintings was the critic John Ruskin referring to when he remarked that the artist was flinging a pot of paint in the public's face?
The Falling Rocket.
Yes, in June 1856, Whistler enrolled as a student with which Swiss artist whose studio was in Paris?
Glare.
Yes. What was the name of Whistler's first patron, a wealthy railway engineer who invited the young artist to his home in Baltimore in 1855, allowing him to set up a studio in a spare room?
Thomas Winans.
Yes, which Whistler painting depicting his half-sister Deborah and her daughter Annie was accepted by the Royal Academy for its 1860 exhibition and was the first of his works to gain such recognition?
At the Piano.
Yes, which art gallery at 48 Pall Mall in London did Whistler lease in 1874 to stage his first solo exhibition in the summer of that year?
Pass.
Whistler's first seascape, known as Alone with the Tide, or The Coast of Brittany, was painted in 1861 during a holiday at which seaside resort on the west coast of France?
Trouville.
No, Perros-Guirec. What was the name of Whistler's muse and partner for many years who was the model for the portrait entitled The White Girl or Symphony in White No. 1?
Joe Heffernan.
Yes. During a trip to South America in 1866, Whistler completed several oil paintings of the harbour of which Chilean port city, which was at that time being blockaded by the Spanish Navy?
Valparaiso.
Yes, Whistler's 1879 painting, The Gold Scab Eruption in Filthy Lucre, depicts his former sponsor, Frederick Leyland, as a monstrous specimen of what bird?
A peacock.
Yes, in 1891, which prestigious gallery acquired Whistler's portrait of his mother after the French state purchased the painting for the modest sum of 4,000 francs?
The Musée de Luxembourg.
Yes, in 1872, which elderly literary figure sat for Whistler for the portrait that would later become known as Arrangement in Grey and Black No. 2?
Thomas Carlyle.
Yes, what sum in damages was Whistler awarded by the Court of Exchequer in November 1878? I've started, so I'll finish. In November 1878, at the conclusion of his action against the art critic, John Ruskin.
1 farthing.
It was 1 farthing. Marion, you had just the 1 pass. The art gallery at 48 Pall Mall in London that Whistler leased in 1874 to stage his first solo exhibition, the Flemish Gallery. And at the end of that round, Marion, you've got 10 points. And our final contender, please. Your name,
Tom Moody.
your occupation,
Software developer.
and your specialist subject.
Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings trilogy.
The film adaptations of J.R.R. Tolkien's classic work released between 2001 and 2003. In 2 minutes, let's go. Which Australian actress who plays the elf Galadriel narrates the opening prologue scenes of The Fellowship of the Ring?
Kate Blanchett.
Yes, in the first film, Peter Jackson plays a cameo role as a man in the street near the Prancing Pony Inn at Bree, who is belching and eating what vegetable?
Carrot.
Yes, in The Fellowship of the Ring, after he's accused of being late, the wizard, Gandalf, played by Ian McKellen, says to which other character a wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Frodo.
Yes, at Bilbo's 11th birthday party, the hobbits Merry and Pippin steal a firework from Gandalf's cart that is revealed to be what shape when ignited?
Dragon.
Yes, what's the elvish name for Sauron's dark fortress from which the Eye of Sauron keeps watch over Middle-earth until it's destroyed in the third film?
Barad-dûr.
Yes, which mountain in New Zealand was the filming location for the scene in which the Fellowship hides from Saruman's Crabine, crow-like spies on their way to the Misty Mountains before they go through the mines of Moria?
Mount Olympus.
Yes, what symbol painted on their faces or helmets is used by Saruman's forces as an identifying mark?
White Hand.
Yes, in the Two Towers, which member of the Fellowship observes that the Uruks, who abducted Merry and Pippin, have turned northeast and declares they are taking the hobbits to Isengard?
Legolas.
Yes, what was the name of the King of Gondor, an ancestor of Aragorn, who cursed the men who became the army of the dead after they broke their pledge to come to his aid?
Isildur.
Yes, inside the Golden Hall in the kingdom of Rohan, King Theoden's chief counselor, Grima Wormtongue, ogles which female character when he's asked what was the promised price for betraying Rohan to Saruman?
Éowyn.
Yes, the three people credited for writing the screenplays for all the films in the Lord of the Rings trilogy are Fran Walsh, Peter Jackson, and who else?
Philippa Boyens.
Yes, which character, after sending his son to retake the fallen city of Osgiliath, asked Pippin to sing to him as he feasts?
Denethor.
Yes, which actor who plays Gimli also provides the voice? I've started, so I'll finish. Also provides the voice for the Ent character, Treebeard, who rescues Merry and Pippin from the orc attack in Fangorn Forest.
John Rhys-Davies.
It is John Rhys-Davies. Tom, at the end of that round, you got them all right, 13 points.
Thank you.
And at the end of the specialist subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In fourth place with 3 points, it's Lillian. In third place with 7 points, it's Christopher. In second place with 10 points, it's Marion. And in first place with 13 points, it's Tom. So now it's general knowledge. And if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, then it's a tie break. So let's ask Lillian to join us again, please. Lillian, you start with 3 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. What name, reflecting its common use in decorating cakes, is given in the UK to the powdery type of sugar, sometimes known as confectioner's sugar?
Icing.
Yes, 10 is the French word for what number?
10.
Yes, the song We Have All the Time in the World, written for the 1969 James Bond adventure on Her Majesty's Secret Service, was sung in the film by which American jazz musician?
Nina Simone.
No, Louis Armstrong. Which British author wrote the 1749 novel The History of Tom Jones, A Foundling?
Pass.
In terms of area, which sparsely populated US state is the largest?
Michigan.
No, Alaska. Which broadcaster from Northern Ireland married the television presenter Ruth Langsford in 2010 and, on occasions from 2006 to 2021, co-hosted the daytime chat show This Morning with her?
Eamon Holmes.
Yes. What name for a drink of espresso coffee with a small amount of steamed milk is the past tense of a Spanish verb meaning to cut?
Cortado.
Yes. Ichthyology is defined as the scientific study of what creatures?
Insects.
No, fish. In Thomas Mallory's account of the Arthurian legends, who was the only knight of the Round Table to return to the court of King Arthur after surviving the quest for the Holy Grail?
King Arthur.
No, Sir Bors, Should I Stay or Should I Go? And I Fought the Law were UK hit singles in the 1980s for which British rock band?
The Clash?
Yes. In the House of Commons, what official position is held by the MP whose role is to chair debates and keep order when Parliament is in session?
Speaker?
Yes. The character Jessica Drew becomes which superhero who first appeared in Marvel Comics in 1977?
Catwoman?
No, Spider-Woman. In the 18th century, Bristol became known for the production of glassware of which primary colour?
Red?
No, blue. Marcel Hoog, who won the men's wheelchair race for a third consecutive time at the 2023 London Marathon, represents which European country?
The Netherlands?
No, Switzerland. What three-letter word for a container often made of cardboard is also the name of an evergreen tree common in southern England?
Pine?
No, box, the collection of French folk songs compiled by the composer Joseph Canteloube and published from 1923 through to the 1950s. I've started, so I'll finish. Published from 1923 through to the 1950s is known in English as Songs of where?
Europe.
It's the Auvergne.
Great.
Lillian, you had the one pass. Henry Fielding wrote The History of Tom Jones, a Foundling. And at the end of that round, Lillian, you've got 9 points.
Thank you.
And next up, let's have Christopher again. Christopher, you start with 7 points. The score to beat, as it stands, is 13 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. How many jury members are normally required at the start of a criminal trial in England and Wales?
12.
Yes. Which precious metal with the chemical symbol PT has a name that comes from the Spanish for little silver?
Potassium.
No, platinum. Between 2005 and 2011, which British band had UK hit singles entitled Speed of Sound, Every Teardrop is a Waterfall, and Paradise?
Franz Ferdinand.
No, Coldplay. What mathematical instrument, typically flat, transparent, and semicircular in shape, is used in geometry to measure or draw angles on paper?
Protractor.
Yes. Which British television presenter hosted the quiz show 15 to 1 for 15 years from 1988, having previously produced game shows such as Family Fortunes and The Price is Right?
Bob Holderness.
No, William G. Stewart. The Bosphorus Strait connects the Sea of Marmara to which larger inland sea to its northeast?
The Bosphorus.
No, Black Sea. Which US president became the first to make an official visit to China while in office?
President Nixon.
Yes. An 1845 narrative poem by Robert Browning tells the story of 3 riders being dispatched to carry an important message from which city in present-day Belgium?
Brussels.
No, Ghent. What portmanteau name is given to a popular dessert said to have been invented in East Sussex in the 1970s, whose typical ingredients include bananas, cream, and caramel or toffee?
Banana split.
No, banoffee pie. In the 1945 film Brief Encounter, which actor plays the married doctor Alec Harvey?
Trevor Howard.
Yes. What word for a type of fastening made by intertwining pieces of string or rope is also a term for an imperfection in a piece of timber where a branch once grew?
A knot.
Yes. Which Australian-born opera singer who died in 2010 had the nickname La Stupenda?
Terry Tikanawa.
No, Joan Sutherland. Which football club won the 2023 FA Cup, beating Manchester United 2-1 in the final?
Leicester City.
No, Manchester City. In Greek mythology, Helen of Troy was the wife of which king of Sparta?
Agamemnon.
No, Menelaus. The disease commonly known as sleeping sickness is transmitted to humans by several species of what insect of the genus Glossina?
Tsetse fly.
Yes. What term from French words for clear and seeing is used in English to refer to a person who claims to be able to look into the future or communicate with the dead?
Clairvoyant.
Yes. In the 1950s and 60s, the Whitehall Theatre in London, under the management of Brian Ricks, presented a series of comedies known collectively as the Whitehall what?
Farces.
Yes. Which astronomer wrote the 1705 work A Synopsis? I've started, so I'll finish. A synopsis of the astronomy of comets, in which he considered 24 historical comet sightings and proposed that a number of them were of the same comet returning.
William Herschel.
No, Edmund Halley. Christopher, you had no passes at the end of that round. You've got 15 points. Next up, it's Marion. Marion, you start with 10 points. The score to beat as it stands is 15 points, and you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. The phrases double word score and triple letter score appear in the premium squares on the board used to play what game?
Scrabble.
Yes, what informal word for mother is also a term for a dead body that has been preserved by being wrapped in cloth and embalmed, especially one in ancient Egypt?
Mummy.
Yes, which planet in our solar system had 12 new moons officially confirmed in January 2023, bringing its total of known moons to 92?
Uranus.
No, Jupiter. What's the basic unit of currency in San Marino, Andorra and Monaco?
Franc.
No, euro. When Britain switched from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar in 1752, 11 days were removed from which month of the year?
February.
No, September. A song in the 1994 animated film The Lion King has as its title what two-word Swahili phrase said to mean no worries?
Hakuna Matata.
Yes, the Marañón and the Ucayali, which flow through Peru, are major tributaries of which South American river?
The Amazon.
Yes, what name from the Greek for seed or to sow is given to an asexual reproductive cell produced by bacteria, fungi and algae?
Protozoa.
No, spore. In 2012, which British radio DJ and quiz show host began presenting a television documentary series on extreme railway journeys?
Michael Portolo.
No, Chris Tarrant. Which British boxer retained her undisputed super lightweight titles with victory over her Irish challenger Katie Taylor in Dublin in May 2023?
Nicola Adams.
No, Chantel Cameron. The name of which large brass musical instrument is also the French word for paperclip?
Cello.
No, trombone. What pop group fronted by Phil Oakey had UK hit albums in the 1980s entitled Dare, Hysteria and Crash?
The Cure.
No, the Human League. What name derived from an Old English word for the thumb is given to a sewing accessory that's placed over the end of a finger to protect it when pushing through the needle?
A symbol.
Yes, a sonnet is a poem comprising how many lines?
14.
Yes, in the media, what term derived from the Latin for voice of the people is used for a sequence of informal interviews with passers-by to gauge public opinion on a particular issue?
Vox Pop.
Yes, in 2018, Arif Alvi was elected as president of which Asian country?
Bangladesh.
No, Pakistan. A museum in the Spanish city of Toledo is dedicated to the works of which painter born on the island of Crete in 1541, but who lived for much of his life in Spain?
Picasso.
No, it was El Greco. And Marion, at the end of that round, you had no passes and you've got 17 points. And finally, let's have Tom again, please. So, Tom, you start with 13 points. The score to beat to get through to the semi-finals is Marion's 17 points, and you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. The abbreviation SPF, used to indicate the effectiveness of sunscreen products, stands for sun protection what?
Pass.
Which celebrity chef's reality television series, Future Food Stars, first shown in 2022, features entrepreneurs competing to win his investment?
Gordon Ramsay.
Yes. Torino is the Italian name for which city?
Turin.
Yes, the song, which was originally a UK hit single for LaBelle in 1975 and the #1 for an ensemble comprising Christina Aguilera, Maya, Pink and Lil' Kim in 2001, is entitled Lady what?
Marmalade.
Yes. In Roman numerals, what number is denoted by the letter CD?
120.
No, 400. Which American golfer won his 5th major tournament with victory in the 2023 US PGA Championship at Oak Hill in New York State?
Phil Mickelson.
No, Brooks Koepka. What term for a succession of rulers, all from the same family, is derived from a Greek word meaning lordship or power?
Dynasty.
Yes, petits pois are a small, sweet variety of what green legumes?
Peas.
Yes, during the English Civil War, what metallic-sounding nickname given to Oliver Cromwell by his adversary Prince Rupert was later extended to the cavalry regiment under his command?
Cavalier.
No, Ironsides. The films of which Swedish director include Wild Strawberries, Persona and Cries and Whispers?
Abby Dixon.
No, Bergman. The jackalope, a mythical creature said to exist in some parts of North America, is usually depicted as having horns or antlers and the body of what animal?
Goat.
No, Rabbit. What 1992 stage play by John Osborne is a sequel to his earlier drama, Look Back in Anger?
Don't Look Back in Anger.
No, Deja Vu, the collection of just so stories by Rudyard Kipling, includes a tale entitled How the Camel Got His What?
Hump.
Yes, which 20th century British composer wrote the music for the operas Peter Grimes and Albert Herring?
Tim Minchin.
No, Benjamin Britten. In human anatomy, what name is given to the short, narrow tube, closed at one end and without an agreed function, that's attached to the cecum in the large intestine?
Pass.
Which one of the UK's national parks extends furthest north?
Lake District.
No, the Cairngorms. The American scientist Carl David Anderson was a joint recipient of the 1936 Nobel Prize in Physics for his discovery of what subatomic particle?
Quark.
No, the positron. Kumbh Mela is I've started, so I'll finish. Kumbh Mela is a festival celebrated by millions of pilgrims at 4 different sites in India over the course of 12 years, most of whom follow which major religion?
Hinduism.
It is Hinduism. Tom, you had 2 passes in human anatomy. The name given to the short, narrow tube, closed at one end and without an agreed function. Appendix. And the abbreviation SPF, Sun Protection Factor. At the end of that round, Tom, you've got 20 points.
Cheers.
So let's have a look at the final scores. In 4th place with 9 points, it's Lillian. In 3rd place with 15 points, it's Christopher. In 2nd place with 17 points, it's Marion. And in 1st place with 20 points, it's Tom, which means he goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to him. If you'd like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Feeling really good about my special subject, Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings trilogy. Barad-dûr.
Yes.
Mount Olympus.
Yes.
John Rhys Davies.
It is John Rhys Davies.
And I'm safe to say I'm probably the most unbearable person to watch those films with now.
Tom, at the end of that round, you got them all right, 13 points.
I panicked a bit when I had my first general knowledge question.
The abbreviation SPF, used to indicate the effectiveness of sunscreen products, stands for sun protection what?
Pass. I didn't get that, and it kind of spooked me a bit. So I'm in a quiz team. I think the members of that team are going to be very happy when I come back and tell them that I won my heat. I think they might be expecting me to do a little bit better next time I play for them, though, so the pressure's definitely on now.